just not the real for real. That's just not the true story in its full totality. So yeah, the two of them knew each other, and the brother, was his girlfriend was actually being harassed at a party by this young white kid, and the two of them actually knew each other. I'm not gonna say they was friends, but this brother, when we get to the TikTok video, he'll break it down a little bit more intricately, because the two of them definitely, who knew who each other was, so they definitely had a history. But let's continue. Fair use.
Attention and hit home for a lot of parents. The fatal stabbing at a high school track meet in Frisco. One teen died and another is behind bars, claiming he did it in self-defense. NBC5's Maria Guerrero has the new details.
There are incredibly difficult days ahead.
And once you tell somebody, like, don't come in my personal space, don't touch me, like our young brother Melo did, that's self-defense. Now, whatever they want to do, after that, that's on them. They got to handle the consequences and repercussions that go along with that. And, they, actually tried to or did jump our brother. So the brother that we're going to be talking about when we go over to his TikTok channel, he actually breaks it down and does a good job in breaking it down, because the white boy's twin brother was there, at this sports meetup. I don't know if it was a football meet or what it was, but his brother was there at the sports meet. So you mean to tell me that an altercation happened and his brother didn't get involved? I would be surprised if he didn't get involved, because I know if it was just my cousin having an altercation with somebody, I'm going to step in, because that's blood. You know what I mean? So it ain't hard for me to fathom that these two twin brother white boys, jumped our brother or attempted to jump our brother. So they leaving a lot of things in the mainstream media off the table.
For Austin Metcalf's family as they prepare to lay him to rest. Meanwhile, his accused killer remains here behind bars at the Collin County Jail, his family preparing his defense.
See, they got that young brother in jail, and that goes back to them racial double standards, because he's only 17. They released his name, and they don't do this with little white kids. I want y'all to see the double standards, the racialized standards in that so-called justice system, family. The way, they treat our people and let these young white kids that get to run amok, they let them go with a slap on the wrist more often than not.
Defense. Retained this morning, defense attorney Derek Walpole agreed to speak on behalf of Karmelo Anthony's family.
I know that my client said that it was self-defense. I don't have any reason to disbelieve that, but I needed to develop facts and talk to people and figure out what's going on before.
That's exactly what it was, if you ask me, a case of self-defense. Now, will they let our young brother get off from this? That's another story, because we know how they play when you ain't got the complexion for the protection.
I make any statements about what I think happened. I don't have any reason to think it wasn't self-defense at this time.
Walpole will seek to lower Anthony's $1 million bond next week. Wednesday morning's deadly encounter at Kirkendall Stadium, witnessed by about 40 student athletes and a
Oh, it was a track meet. Yeah, it was a track meet. I said a football meet. I didn't know what it was. I just knew it was a sports meet. And I just knew when I initially heard this story that, something didn't sit all that right with me. That it just wasn't a case of, this guy, this brother stabbing a little white kid over his seat. I was like, nah, it got to be more to it. It got to be a racialized component, them maybe harassing his brother, or they had some ongoing dealings in the past. And, all of that basically turned out to be true.
Handful of coaches, as detailed in arresting documents, sparked witnesses said when Memorial High School junior Austin Metcalf told Karmelo Anthony to move from underneath Memorial's pop-up tent that was being used during a downpour.
And a lot of white folks, they butt their nose into, I'm just keeping this thing real, into affairs and business that don't got nothing to do with them. That little white kid had no business, even if he was, out of bounds for being under the tent. Let the staff, come to him. Why did this white boy take it upon himself to save the day? You know what I mean? And come to find out, the coaches told our young brother Melo he could be under that tent.
Witnesses said Anthony, a Centennial High School student, immediately opened his bag, reached in, and told the victim, "Touch me and see what happens." When Metcalf pushed him, witnesses said Anthony pulled a black knife from...
See, the white boy facilitated this whole thing, even from what they said there. You come in a person's personal space and you push them, that's hands-on. Now you're getting physical. You done escalated this thing from just talking to, being physical altercation.
from the bag, stabbed Metcalf in the chest, and ran away. While no school resource officers were inside the stadium, one was nearby. City police also rushing in, covering the knife with a blue tarp. Caught nearby, Anthony reportedly admitted to officers, "I did it. He put his hands on me. I told him not to," before asking officers if it could be considered self-defense and if the injured teen was going to be okay. The victim laid down.
You can tell he didn't, think about this beforehand, that, he done this based off of emotion, because he even asked, was the little white kid okay? You know what I mean? So it's just a set of unfortunate circumstances, on both parts, because now you got this little white kid who, is, dead, and his family's mourning, and our young brother, truth be told, he's living, but, they ain't going, most likely he ain't going to come off of this. He ain't got the complexion for the protection. They're going to give a buku years, and his family mourns because they don't got their son no more. You know what I mean? And these are just young kids that had both of them had a future ahead of themselves.
Dying in his twin brother's arms. Grateful for the outpouring of support, Metcalf's mother, Megan, releasing a statement to NBC5 today saying, "Tragedies inevitably raise questions that remain unanswered. We will entrust the detectives handling the investigation to determine the circumstances surrounding Austin's passing, while our family, Hunter and I, prioritize commemorating and honoring Austin."
Yeah, like I said, the two of them had some interaction together, because we about to go over to TikTok now, and this young white kid that lost his life, if you ask me, he was trying to be black and be down, but that just goes to show you that he called our brother the N-word, with the hard ER, at the end. So it just goes to show you that, white people that, are falsely, even portraying to be down with black people, they still got racist, anti-black views about themselves. And, it'll just take for them to be put in the right situation to release that, because, when, a person always shows its real true colors, you give them enough time, you let them talk long enough, they'll tell you who they are. But let's get over here to TikTok. RASX, not a racial profile, but them two white boys give me a racist vibe, to keep it real. Yeah, and they were, I feel you, family. You ain't wrong in that. I kind of feel that way too, because they were chilling, like I said, this guy that lost his life, he was chilling with our young black brother. He was hanging out trying to be down, and when they had that altercation, the first thing that come out of his mouth is the N-word with the hard ER. It's not surprising to me, because many of them that, seek to be down with black people, that's how they feel at the end of the day. It just takes the right set of circumstances, to bring that out of them. And if you let them talk long enough, they'll bring it out of themselves. So what am I doing? I'm exiting out of this. Over here to TikTok. Come on. My apologies, family. My computer be lagging. I'm going to that brother now who broke that, situation down beautifully, if you ask me. He must have really been doing his homework on all of the intricate details, because he had a picture of the white boy chilling with our young brother, so they had some knowledge about one another. They were most likely friends, or they had to be associates at the minimum. But here we go, family, fair use. Come on.
Everybody's talking about this story regarding Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf down there in Frisco. Everybody's talking about this story regarding Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf down there in Frisco, Texas. Austin got unalived. A lot of people are trying to make it a race issue, and it's not. It has nothing to do with that right there. But a lot of people are attacking this young man and are showing the negative side.
But he said it don't have nothing to do with a race issue. I don't agree with him in that, because he said, that when the altercation happened, a little, he'll say that down the line a little bit more as he talks. He said that the white boy calls him the N-word with the hard ER. And let's continue.
And everything, but I want you to see him in his positive side, because this was self-defense. The story is being told. Karmelo, he was sitting up under a tent, under the wrong tent and everything. That's what they said, under the wrong tent. And Austin came over there, told him to move. Said Karmelo got aggressive with him and everything, and then stabbed him with a knife in the heart and everything, and he passed away. That's not the full story. First off, Karmelo had permission from another coach to go over there and set up under that tent. He had permission. Another thing that was said and been spread out far and wide is that they didn't know each other. That's a lie, because they definitely knew each other. This is an older picture. They definitely knew each other.
Look at that. I'm going to take it back, family. It's moving too
They didn't know each other. That's a lie, because they definitely.
See, there go the white boy in the middle chilling with him. So, yeah, they knew each other. Look at the white boy trying to be down, but the first, sign of when you do something they don't like, they'll bring that N-word out on you. This is, proof and evidence of that. But, it's still, sad set of circumstances. So RIP to that white boy, because I don't want to sound inconsiderate, because, I don't wish death on no one, but, I'm just keeping this thing real, and looking at this thing, through the lens of my black mind and breaking it down.
They knew each other. This is an older picture. They definitely knew each other. Other stuff that's coming out is Austin was being mean and harassing Karmelo, his girlfriend, actually, Karmelo's girlfriend. He was harassing her at a party that was about maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. Karmelo took up for his girlfriend. Then all of a sudden the fight broke out. Austin broke Karmelo's phone just the day before this incident took place. So the day of this incident, Austin
See, he broke the brother's phone and everything. It's a lot of detail that's being left, real vague, as to paint the picture that, our brother just, did this, off of a seat, just hauled off and killed this little white kid. And that's not, the story in its fullness, its full totality. Come on. Now my computer wants to freeze. My apologies, family. Hold on. Computer acting up.
Austin broke Karmelo's phone just the day before this incident took place. So the day of this incident, Austin confronted Karmelo for sitting up under the tent in the wrong area. They got into an argument. Karmelo's backpack was grabbed, and then he was called the N-word. And then Austin tried to grab him forcibly. He tried to forcibly move him. And it wasn't Austin by himself. Both of them got up there and attacked Karmelo. Both of them did. And there were a lot of witnesses down there that said that the twins, plural, tried to jump him. But actually, they did jump him. They stomped on him.
Stop it.
And there were a lot of witnesses down there that said that the twins, plural, tried to jump him. But actually, they did it. Karmelo for sitting up under the tent in the wrong area. They got into an argument.
My computer's acting
Karmelo's
goofy, man.
backpack
It's
was
not letting me pause.
and then he was
I just
called
let it ride
the
through. I'll
N-word.
talk about it
And
later.
then Austin tried to grab him forcibly. He tried.
There we go. But he was basically saying that both of the twins, jumped our brother and tried to jump on him, and attacked him, because I find it hard to believe you there with your brother. You held him after he was stabbed in your arms and stopped the bleeding. And, you seen an altercation with your brother and you didn't get involved in it. That's not going to happen, because I know, truth be told, if I ain't even got a brother, but if one of my cousins was involved in a, altercation, I was getting heated, I'm in it, I'm all in. TikTok app where my computer's acting real goofy, man.
The N-word, and then Austin tried to grab him forcibly. He tried to forcibly move him. And it wasn't Austin by himself. Both of them got up there and attacked Karmelo. Both of them did. And there were a lot of witnesses down there that said that the twins, plural, tried to jump him. But actually, they did jump him. They stomped on him, and they broke his phone, and they tried to take his things.
Wow, they did jump him. So they actually did jump him and stomp him. So, yeah, like I said, I find it hard to believe that his twin brother was there and, didn't get involved. He probably, as soon as it, got heated, he probably got involved, truth be told. And that's elements that they leaving out of the story in the mainstream media. I don't respect that. Because it demonizes, our young black brother, to where, though, he ain't got a fair chance at, of coming out.
Tried to jump him. But actually, they did jump him. They stomped on him, and they broke his phone, and they tried to take his things. So nothing peaceful was about that whole thing. And something else is going to come out. This is allegedly. Something else is going to come out. He had narcotics in his system.
Oh.
He did. Austin, he had narcotics in his system. That's what caused him to be overly aggressive. So just like I said over on the BlaccBase over there, that was self-defense. That's what he did. He did self-defense. Everybody's coming for him. People trying to...
Yeah, that was self-defense. And if that young white kid had narcotics in his system, he wasn't even thinking right no way. He's under the influence of something,